Welcome to a special edition of NCT News. Today, we interview teachers and staff about our esteemed retiring principal, Ms. Toniann Noyes, and their experiences with her.
Our first question is, which quality of Ms. Noyes stands out to you the most?
I was actually a student here under her way back in the day. I graduated in 2005, so I was here for the first 2 years of school. So, I've really known her a long time. But the fact that she's been here so long, I think she kind of embodies the culture of the school, and she's really the face of the school, which is, how it should be with the principal. So she does a good job with that, but she promotes the culture, and she's very optimistic and positive, and she communicates well. I think it's really cool how she does her one-on-one meetings throughout the year to really show that she embraces and supports the staff too.
I would have to say her kindness. Throughout my life, she's always, been very kind to everybody, in every situation that, that I know of. That's always stood out about her to me.
I think the quality of Mrs. Noyes that stands out to me the most would have to be her compassion, her ability to care for the kids that attend Nature Coast, her ability to care for the teachers, and the fact that we get the opportunity to sit down with her one-on-one and talk about our lives and our families that would be conversations we wouldn't ordinarily get to have. That really is the quality that stands out to me the most.
I would say her kindness and how much she cares about people, and she seems genuine.
Her leadership, without a doubt, her leadership. When I was a student here, she was just the assistant principal at the time, but she was always the strong leader and the heart of this school. I've said it over and over and over again, but yes, her leadership is what stands out with her.
I would have to say by far the trait that stands out the most with Ms. Noyes is her kindness. She's got a big heart. Never seen her overly angry or overly anxious. She is just calm, cool, collected, and kind to everybody.
What quality of Ms. Noyes do you stand the most?
For Ms. Noyes, the quality that I like the most is her personality. She is a very, very outgoing person, and not just that, but she understands every single person on campus. She's really, really caring and loving.
I would say that she's very kind-hearted. She will always sit there and listen to whatever your concerns are or whatever emotion you are feeling. And she'll make sure she understands it fully, and then she helps support you with it.
With absolute sincerity, it is her innate ability to dig deep to find good in all people. She does not stop the digging until she finds it. And she is a firm believer that there is good somewhere in everybody. And she doesn't stop until she gets there. And that is an amazing trait and so necessary in the place that we live today. I think it's a pretty amazing thing. And I witness it regularly across the board. It is phenomenal, that trait.
What I love about Mrs. Noyes is that she genuinely has a heart of gold. She will do anything and everything she can to help anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. She loves everyone regardless. She loves her students, she loves her faculty, she loves her staff, and she will do anything to help them.
For Ms. Noyes, it would be her professionalism. I've always thought of her as being extremely professional, and you always know she's aware of everything that's going on, and she takes care of not just the students, but the staff and all of us, everyone here.
I love that she is very approachable, and she's a great listener, so I know I can go to her with any problem, and she's going to listen.
Ms. Noyes is an amazing leader. She is extremely personable, extremely professional, and well-grounded. I've never met a person in leadership who's so approachable and who can communicate their sincere care and concern for both their staff and faculty.
Our second question is, what was your first impression of Mrs. Noyes when you met her?
Oh, well, I was a student at first, so, we all looked up to our administrators back then. The school was smaller back then, it was still fairly new, so we were very tight-knit, had a really good family atmosphere those years. And now as it's grown, you kind of lose a little bit of that, but still maintain the family atmosphere. But, it's always been positive. She's a great person, great leader. Like I said, family-oriented, which is always a big thing. She embraces everybody around her and makes everyone around her better.
Well, I was 11 years old when I met her. When my dad started working at Nature Coast, I was in middle school. So, it's hard to really say what my first impression was.
I remember when you were 11.
Yeah, it's hard to remember when I was 11. Certainly a good impression. But yeah, I've known Miss Noyes for a very, very long time. So I'm sure it was positive.
I have to laugh because I was scared. I had never met Mrs. Noyes before, and I really didn't know what to expect. I was a little intimidated, but I have to say that meeting her and working with her all these years has been one of the best experiences of my career.
It was a while ago, but I would say my first impression, again, she seemed very genuine and happy to have me. And it's been a great 8 years.
My first impression of Mrs. Noyes was I met her before the school opened. I was going to Central at the time, and her and Miss Schellitz, the first principal of Nature Coast, were coming to every school and kind of doing promoting the school basically. So she was going around passing out the packets of all the clusters and things that were going to be available at Nature Coast. And she put it in my hand and said, "Your future's in this packet, young man." And I can't tell you how that changed my life when she said that, because Nature Coast, as a student here, I love being here and being able to come back and work as a part of the faculty now. It's a dream come true, because the message and the crap, I just lost the word. The mission of this school has always been important to me, because I feel like there's a really strong dream and a very strong mission statement at the school of just building the future of America. And I know that sounds very corny, but it really is what we do here. When you have auto, you've got performing arts like we are here, you've got aerodynamics. We have all these different traits and trades that we can do in the school. I think that's what makes it the best school in the county. I said it, best school in the county. So my impression from Miss Noyes, I'll just say it again, her leadership has always just been the strongest trait of hers.
And what do you think about Miss Noyes when you met her?
Oh, I was very impressed when I met her, because I never met such a tall teacher. She's really tall and elegant, and I thought that she was really, really amazing, very elegant, and she all the time dresses very well.
My first impression from Ms. Noyes came from when I was a student. So, maybe a little ninth grader, Mr. Truffinghouse, walking around, probably saw Ms. Noyes in the courtyard and was quaking in my boots, because, she's the big boss lady. But obviously there is nothing to quake in your boots about for Ms. Noyes. Over time, you learn to love.
So I am unique in the sense that my grandmother used to work here when it first opened. So I've actually known Miss Noyes since I was 5. So I've got to hang out with her individually, at her house, and go to pool parties and stuff. So I have a lot
history.
Yes, a lot more of a history. So coming back and working here has been very different, because I have to separate that relationship that I have with her individually with
now she's your boss.
The work relationship, and I can't be hey, do you remember that time when?
Yeah.
So I can when we're talking about school related things, because I also graduated from here.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I gotta stay with the professional side of things.
Yeah.
But that first impression is a lot of the reasons why I came back, because I knew she would have my back and I can learn and grow from her.
I met Mrs. Noyes in 2003, the year that Nature Coast would be opening. And I had to go to this portable for an interview. And this beautiful woman comes walking. I'm sitting in this waiting area, and this beautiful woman comes to get a drink of water. And I looked at her and I just said, hi. And she looked at me and greeted me as well. And there was an immediate connection of a hello. Little did I know who she was. And I absolutely had no idea she was going to be sitting in my interview. And when I went in for the interview, Mrs. Noyes was there, along with Mrs. Shellis, who was our principal at the time. And my first impression was, I hope I have an opportunity to get to know this person, because I just felt it. That was my first impression of her, was I want to know her.
It's really sweet.
It's honest. And we've been together that long.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Pretty extraordinary person.
I have known Mrs. Noyes since September of 1996 when I first moved to Florida. We taught together at Parrott Middle School. Mrs. Noyes, again, when I met Mrs. Noyes, she had a heart of gold. And I 29 years later, she still has that same heart of gold. She has never changed who she is.
Oh, when I first met Ms. Noyes, she was my assistant principal, my evaluator, and I admired her. I just admired her a whole bunch. And then when she left here to be a principal elsewhere, I just knew eventually we had to get her back. And I'm lucky we did. I've been here 25 years, and she's been a part of my life for all those years.
I thought she was very friendly, and then she exhibited a lot of traits to be a great leader.
My first impression of Ms. Noyes was when she was the principal to my daughter who attended here. And I would see her outside every morning greeting parents and students into the school. And then to come here to work many years later, and she's still in front of the school greeting parents and students every single morning. And sometimes I'll even see her walking with students. I've never met anyone like her. I have never met anyone like her. And we're not even talking about her style. Listen, if anything else, this woman can dress to the nines. And what I love about that is that it demonstrates to the rest of the staff how we should carry ourselves as well. So I love that. Even though, she's not picky. I'm laughing at when she showed me her tattoo. Have you ever seen her tattoo? But anyway, that's something else. But that's what I'm talking about. This is a woman with grace and poise and still has that little bit of something else that brings her down with the rest of us. I don't know. I've been honored to have worked under her. It's been a privilege, and I know that I will take lessons from her tutelage that will go with me a long, long way.
Finally, we'd like to thank all the teachers that took time out of their days to talk to us. And, of course, we'd love to thank Miss Noyes for all the time she has dedicated to NCT.